when I was asked by Shraddha, I read up on the Vedic Wellness University and its activities. And I must say that this is something that is close to everybody's heart because interdisciplinary learning is what we stand for as a culture. And I think this, to have everything under one roof, whether it is Vedic studies or yoga or the the Panchama Veda, which is dance, I think it makes a lot of sense. And today, with the world being so well connected, it's so wonderful that these kinds of initiatives find space, and the fact that very committed lot of people are working together to disseminate knowledge in its truest sense, because dance for very many people, particularly for the young learners, is just a performance opportunity. But we have to strengthen the pedagogy and make them understand that performance is only one aspect of the dance. Learning of dance enriches your soul. It makes you a better human being. Whatever you do it better if you're an artist. You become sensitive, you understand your body well, you understand your spine well, you understand the connect between the body and the mind, and you get exposed to so many aspects of Indian tradition, whether it is mythology, whether it is philosophy, whether it is literature, poetry, rhythm, aesthetics, spirituality. You get all these dimensions if the pedagogy is right and you're exposed to each one of these aspects in their truest sense. So interdisciplinarity is something that I really believe in. And for the last 30 years, I have been teaching in my institution, Natya Vriksha. And if you see the entire studio, it is a space full of shapes, forms, aesthetic opportunities, because aesthetics cannot be taught in a class. It has to be experienced. It has to be lived. So I think you need to expose children to an environment which actually stimulates those kinds of experiences. Beyond that, I think Bharatanatyam today is one of the most sought after forms of expression, classical dance forms of India. And we need to see that our youngsters are well equipped. When they learn dance, many times the Guru Shishya Parampara becomes an excuse to not learn the grammar of the dance or to go into the theory of the dance. So I think all these aspects are very important. So when you frame a course, when you have a diploma or a degree course, you go into various aspects and you explore the form in its fullest. So as I said, it's not only geared to performance, it's also geared to scholarship, it is geared to interdisciplinarity, because I have students who are doing psychology and they do movement therapy. They marry dance and psychology. Somebody else is doing sociology, they marry sociology, education and dance. So they're doing something on dance education. So these avenues need to open up. So the pedagogy has to be such that it opens windows for all these young aspirants, and to not make them see only dance as something that is performed, which is glamorous, but there are many, many aspects to dance which are so beautiful and which can make a difference in our society, which is so full of stress and violence. And I feel teaching the arts, learning the arts is the only way forward where we can bring some kind of calmness, de-stressing of the mind for these youngsters. I know it is very stressful to grow up in today's society. It is not easy. I thank my stars that I was born when I was born, because having to go through formal education and the rigors of life today is really not an enviable position to be in. So being a parent is difficult, being a school principal is a challenge. So I think it's very difficult in today's society to bring up a child with the right kind of values and giving him some source through which he can de-stress himself or herself and feel connected with oneself. So I think these are very important aspects while teaching the dance form, and I think we need to be very, very careful and not teach dance in a very myopic way, as though it is just moving of hands and legs and just going on stage, but to make it a complete holistic experience so that the soul dances and you are a happier person and you share your art form with others with equal joy, and you spread an environment, an atmosphere of cordiality and of spiritual elevation. So I think this is very, very important when we do any kind of teaching, be it online, offline. And I seriously believe that learning dance online has its limitations, even though we are all kind of doing it because there was no other option during the lockdown. But I think it's important. So I was happy that this is an online course, and it's kind of not online but it's offline, this whole thing that Shraddha told me you people were planning and wanting to do, and for various age groups. That was also very interesting, where you've broken up the age groups, because I think devising something according to the age is very important again, because their understanding changes, and today's children come with a completely different skill basket. In the last 30 years, when I started teaching my first student in the 90s, and when I see today's student, I think there's a world of difference. And if I am foolish if I keep the pedagogy the same and expect the student to be equally enthusiastic the way they were before. So there's a lot of unlearning for us as teachers when we sit in a class, and we need to understand the students and where they are coming from and what are their aspirations and what is the skill. Because I feel the earlier students were much more reverential to a learning process, and they had a background in the family. I did not have to really start with the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. They knew it at home. Their grandmothers were there around telling them. Today I cannot presume anything that they really know. So the pedagogy has to have every aspect built into the learning. So, and technology comes fantastically to them. Today's generation is like this with technology. So we have to see how we can kind of integrate that in the learning process. They are very good with expression today in terms of speaking. They're not good with the face because they are working with the computer and with the laptop all the time. So when they speak with no expression. They are so straight on the face. Earlier, we used to animate as we speak. But this is not there today. Today, it's a very straight, because you can tell the difference that this is a generation which is brought up on the computer and the laptop and the cell phone. So, you need to begin at a different, in a different way with these children as far as expression and abhinaya go. You really need to work very hard with them. And some of the mannerisms are so urbane. So when you're teaching a padam, a shrugging of a shoulder, there's so many things that you need to address, and you need to see that you need to put those away and come into a stylized vocabulary of Bharatanatyam, which is classical and which has that strength and depth of the classical. So I think we have a lot of challenges before us as teachers, not to scare you, but to just put all these things in front of you, make you aware when you teach, that just saying that I learned an art form a certain way and my teacher was very strict and hence I'm going to be that way. No, it's not going to work. Today, we have to use every tool with us to help them engage with dance. So Shraddha had asked me to do a little bit of abhinaya, because she said that we won't let you go without that. So I was just thinking what I should do, and I just came up with a very cheeky padam. So I just thought I will do Yarika Gilim Bayama, which is a beautiful padam, not just the first line, because not able to stand and not able to sing, it's only that much as possible. So this is a beautiful composition. It's a very bold and strong naika, where she's saying, I don't care if people's tongues are wagging. This is not a secret. Everybody can see, everybody knows what I'm doing, and I am not scared of anybody. यार का गीलुम भयम्मा यार का गीलुम भयम्मा यार का गीलुम भयम्मा சும்மா சொல்லட்டும் இதில் என்ன ரகசியமா சும்மா சொல்லட்டும் யாருக்காகிலும் பயமா சும்மா சொல்லட்டும் இதில் என்ன ரகசியமா சும்மா சொல்லட்டும் யாருக்காகிலும் பயமா சும்மா சொல்லட்டும் இதில் என்ன ரகசியமா சும்மா சொல்லட்டும் யாருக்காகிலும் பயமா.
That's so wonderful, ma'am. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. So I wish all of you the very, very best. And I wish the university much more, many more chapters. And hopefully I can do whatever I can from our end for the university, because we are all having similar goals, and we all must handhold and take this beautiful knowledge base that we have, which is still so unexplored, I would say, needs to be explored and brought before everybody and shared with the next generation. And also the link between scholars and performers. I think there's a big gap between scholars and performers that needs to be also reduced. During our time, we had so many scholars whom would just walk up to and ask, and they'd be so generous with their sharing of knowledge. So I think today Google is not the right source. We can't press that button and get those beautiful wise suggestions and references. And also we need to make our children go to primary sources. They must learn Sanskrit, they must learn languages, because languages are so important. Just a translation doesn't give the same kind of flavor and the same kind of understanding. How can I explain yarikagilum bayama in English with the same kind of summa sollatum? How can I say summa? Simply, okay, but that's not the same as summa. So I think that nuance of a language can be understood only if we learn the language and we understand the use and the colloquial format of flavor of the language. So I feel Sanskrit, when all these children go for other sources of English translation, I feel bad, because it's so important to read Sanskrit in its true primary text. So I think what the interpretation that each one of us will do is it's going to be so beautiful and different, rather than just going by a translation of a foreigner. So I just feel these are some of the issues that bother me, and I took the liberty of sharing all this, because you're all in the area of disseminating knowledge. So I thank each one of you for giving me such a patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we are seeing while you are talking, you are like dancing. So wonderful, madam. Thank you so much.
Do we have any questions for Geeta Chandran ma'amji from our panelists? Anyone wants to interact with ma'am and ask the questions? I think it's a great chance.
What age you started your Bharatanatyam, madam? If you
I started at the age of 5 with no idea that I would become a professional artist, because I came from a family of all doctors, engineers, and chartered accountants, etc. The routine ones. And I learned the dance because my mother was very keen that I have a core understanding of the dance and music. I started learning music at the age of 7. And of course, academics was very important, so everything went hand in hand. I did mathematical statistics in my undergrad, and I did my post graduation in communications. And then I thought I was superwoman. I thought I can combine everything. I can work and I can dance and sing, but I couldn't. I wanted to go right deep into dance, so I gave up everything and came into full-time dancing. And then there was no looking back. It was a lot of work, kind of putting what I had learned into a format which was performable and which I enjoyed doing so. My teachers were wonderful. I had Swarna Sastyamma initially, then K.N. Dakshinamurthy, who's the younger brother of Dandayidapani Pillai, then Kalanidhi Narayanan, Jamuna Krishnan, all these people, then Shivakumar, Karikudi Shivakumar, who taught me Konnakol and Nattuangam. So all these things then combined to kind of take the journey forward. So as I say, learning never stops. I still learn, and it's because there's so much unexplored. As I said, the possibilities are huge. So nobody can say that I've done everything and now I can sit back. So I think that learning continues, the quest continues. Still, I read a beautiful line of poetry, I just want to dance to it. So I think everything is connecting to dance. You see a full moon today, the moon is so beautiful here. I saw the moon and I said, oh my God, I feel like dancing. So everything then connects to dance.